October is Financial Planning Month. Here with some tips on planning for the future is Nan of Silver Lining Wealth Advisors. How are you doing today?
Good, Brad.
All right, this is the perfect time. October. We're like, how can we say, we're getting ready to go into the holiday shopping, the buying, everything like this. But also it's a time to start planning financially for 2023 or your future, right?
Yeah, it definitely is.
So, okay, let's get into some planning. What are some things that people should be starting to look at when they're planning for the future?
Definitely. I think the biggest thing that you have to start with is what are your goals, right? What's your why? So October, you start doing it now, because if you get into January, right, and you start thinking about, hey, what do I want to accomplish? You're already behind the eight ball, right? Yeah. So what's your why? What's the plan? And then execute on the plan starting January 1.
I like that. And then when you talk about making the plan, it's not going big. It's not going, you know what, I want to retire, tomorrow, kind of thing. It's almost like making a marathon of it, not a quick race, right?
Definitely. Most people, they try to accomplish way too much too fast. Right? And so it is a marathon, and it's trying to make sure that we have, little goals in mind, little steps, so that when we get to that ultimate goal, it's achieved at that point.
Yeah.
To give you an example, right? My wife and I, we do it on an annual basis, and a couple years ago we bought a car for her. Yeah. We had our third child. Her car wasn't working out anymore. We couldn't put 3 car seats into it, and the goal for that year was to pay off that car by the end of the year. And what we did was we broke it up all the way down to a weekly basis and just decided, okay, here's what we've got to do in order to make that goal happen.
Yeah, and I think also too, with making a financial plan, there's growing pains. And I think in the world that we live in now, we want everything right now, so quick and everything. So it's like a growing pain when you have to wait, but it pays off, right?
It definitely does, right? So I always believe in controlling the things that you can control, right? So bucket 1, there's 3 buckets in our lives: things that you can control, things that you can influence, and things that you can't control or influence. Unfortunately, we spend too much time in that 3rd bucket. So those growing pains could be something from the external that affects you, right? Whether it's the headlines or something that happens, right? But really just focusing on what you can control helps you get even further along, even when everything else around you changes, kind of like 2022.
Yeah. It's good to get an advisor. I think everyone thinks, oh, I have to be like a Powerball winner or anything like that. You really don't, because you're there to advise from a little bit to a lot. Yeah. To get the person a lot to their future. And I think that's something that needs to be understood, right?
Yeah, some of the most amazing clients that we work with, right, they started so early, and it wasn't putting thousands and thousands of dollars away on an annual basis. It was putting $250 away or $50 away on a monthly basis. And slowly, as they, kind of aged and got more mature and their jobs started to change, they started to put more away. So starting early is always the first thing that I always tell people. Yeah. But then making sure that we've got a good game plan so that that long-term goal is there, but then also having the ability to adjust for some of the short-term stuff that's going to happen in life.
Yeah, I got to say this to parents out there. Parents, it's different from when we were younger about saving money a certain way. Send your child to an advisor, because they will listen to you before they listen to us parents about saving money, because you guys know the different ways and have seen what the younger generation's looking to save for, what to do, and also to help them with the goals.
Yeah, it's so different, right? So our retirees and post-retirees and the way that they grew up, they didn't have social media, they didn't have all the information that's out there. A lot of the younger generation has to deal with information overload, right? So parents that are looking at their children trying to say, hey, what should we look to do? I always say introduce your advisor at least out the gate. Why? Because they may not be a good fit at that time, but at least they can give them some little steps to help them even as they're going through college and finding that first house and everything that goes along with that.
Yeah, it's so important. There it is. So I love that.
Yeah.
Okay, one very quick tip right now that we can do to get started with financial planning.
Biggest tip that I would give you is just reach out to a financial advisor. Figure out what your goals are, reach out to a financial advisor as we're going through National Financial Planning Month, and take a look and say, what is it that I want to achieve, and then partner with somebody that knows what they're doing.
So, and will you make sure that those people can stay with their Starbucks coffee?
That's my wife's biggest thing. It was probably the biggest thing that got us over the hump.
There it is. Sweetie, I love you, but you can advise me on everything else, but not my Starbucks coffee.
That's right.
Tell them how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, if you go to our website, it's www.silverliningwealth.com. You'll find all of our information there, phone numbers, emails, everything like that, even all of our profiles and everything. So.
Perfect. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
There you go.